Well, hey everybody, welcome back to Red Tool House. I'm Troy. So in today's video, I want y'all to come with me and help me figure out where some of my soaked feed is disappearing. I think each night the volume is decreasing in my soaked bins here. So for a couple weeks now, I've been soaking my grain here, my pig feed for the pigs, letting it swell up, obviously let it ferment, that type of thing. And I had just some pieces of roofing tin on top of it, like Latahoosie, to keep the small critters out, chipmunks, rats, bugs, those type of things. Figured, okay, that'll be fine. It'll probably be a while before the big stuff finds it. Well, fast forward to what's going on here recently. Coming down and trying to find my scoop. I'm like, I left my scoop in here last night. I can't figure out where it is. And then have to dig down and discover that it's buried. And sometimes have to dig quite a bit to figure out it's buried. I'm like, how is that happening? It's not sinking. So obviously something's a mess. And the fact that there's just feed slung everywhere. And there's a highway path up to the woods of small woodland creature footprints. So we need to figure out what's going on here and what we can do to remedy that. So yesterday morning, I decided to do a little experiment. I took my trail cam here, put it on an old tripod, and set it up right here by the old feed barrels to just see what showed up on the footage. So let's review that footage together. And keep in mind, this is just one 24-hour period. So the buffet evidently opened up early and stayed open pretty late. And I thought maybe at first that this raccoon had a hollow leg because he was on here quite a bit. The trail cam triggers and runs for 15 seconds. And I thought, man, this guy's really into it. But, one raccoon, I think I can handle that. That's not a problem. Not a big issue there with just one. But then things happen. It's like, okay, wait a minute. Now we got two. Looks like there's maybe a little scrap over the feed bowl. And now there's three raccoons, so it's become a house party now. And then I'm like, oh my goodness, there's now four raccoons, and this literally has become like a feed hot tub because they're just having a good old time, just slowly creeping into the tub, going to get them something to eat, and just really, really enjoying themselves. And isn't it just like when you have something too good to be true? Then organized crime shows up. Check out this guy, One Eye. So One Eye comes in here and he's going to basically take control over this. He's going to establish some rules. But once the word got out, then everybody was in on it. News evidently quickly spread through the forest and there was just no avoiding it. And of course, once the crows find out, you know the old saying, tell a crow, telegraph. So the word was out. So in the spirit of good, clean fun and science, we're going to set up the trail cam tonight and try to put some obstacles in the way here of the feed barrel to see just how wily our masked banditos are to be able to access the feed. And keep in mind, I'm doing this for you all for entertainment because this has probably cost me about $20 a night. No, I'm actually very curious to see how good these little suckers are. So I think what we're going to start with is our roofing tin. So two pieces there, placed with perfect strategery. And then we need some substance. Actually, I think we need some rigidity. So let's see if we can find some rigidity next. All right, so here is a true 2x8 from Tulip Poplar. Set that there. So that provides some rigidity. And let's find some weight. And no, I'm not going to sit on it all night. Aha! Oh, never throw anything away, I say. Oh my goodness. All right. So deck pier numero uno. Deck pier numero dos. And just for the name of cruelty, those are full of slime. Okay, so it's been a week later, and my contraption has actually worked. And I have some footage here to show you how they had to interact with this and their response. So right on cue, the party started again, but this time there was some confusion. They were trying to figure out, hey, what's going on here? And started exploring some options. And man, I just love the resiliency of these guys. You got to give them an A for effort here, because they realize, hey, we just need to get under this tin. So they start working around here, doing some of their raccoon acrobatics to figure out. But they quickly decided that one's not going to do it, so maybe we need some teamwork. So calling in some help here, these two guys, I think these are kind of like the messenger guys. And they figure out it's not going to happen, so they had to break the bad news to One Eye. And you know what happens to the guy that brings the bad news? He gets knocked around a little bit. So One Eye decides, I'm going to check it out, see if I can get in there, because maybe these guys are, they're ignorant. But he's quickly confounded, and he goes around back. You can kind of see the tin shaking here. He goes around back there. I thought he was trying to get in, but it was much more nefarious than that. So this is a fix, but it's not a very practical fix, because these little turkeys are heavy, and moving them every single time I want to feed the pigs or add some feed or just check on the feed, whatever, it kind of becomes a pain in the butt. And what's interesting too, with my board this long, I made the mistake the other day of leaving the board up on the corral rail, and the raccoons one night just simply came and slid the lid back enough to get down in there, and they didn't slide it back, but it defeated the whole purpose there. So I wanted to take this out and come up with something a little more practical. But here's the thing I'm worried about. I know we talked about non-lethal means with these raccoons. I kind of have a live and let live attitude toward them, especially since you kill one of them and more of them just keep coming back. But when I was taking this apart, or when I was emptying this feed the other day, I noticed there was something on the back of this barrel here. So I'm a little concerned. So I don't know if I should be worried about this or what should be done. I think they've thrown down the gauntlet, because even last night, yesterday evening, I was on the front porch enjoying a pipe, and I came inside and walked past our back door and noticed there's a raccoon right there on the back step of the back porch, 2 fists in cat food from the cat bowl, and just dared me to do something about it. So they may have declared war. But for now, I'm just going to take some scrap wood, 2 hinges, and 2 locking hasps that I got at a local box store, and we'll make some lids here for these barrels that will allow me to easily access, but also keep the critters out. All right, I think that may deter our little fuzzy buggers. And what I'll do is I'm going to set this up against my corral wall so I can just lay the lid back. Because obviously if you let that lid fall, that hinge, that's one of those cheap hinges, so it's not going to last very long at all. But I can lay it up against the corral wall. And as far as hooking the hasp, I'm torn. Comment below, let me know what you think. I was going to go with an 8-digit combination, but I think they can crack that. So I may have to go with a biosecurity, may have to do a fingerprint lock and see if that works. Because I know raccoons have tiny little fingerprints and they probably won't show up that good. But comment below and let me know what you think I should use for a latch on my hasp there. All right, now time to do it ×2. But the problem is the other barrel's half full of feed, so I can't pull it into the shade. Bummer. Somebody touched on the hose. All right, so I think that's going to work. Just out of morbid curiosity, I'm not going to put any locks, pin latches, or anything in that. I'm going to leave that open. I don't think a raccoon's going to do it, be able to work that and lift it up. But out of morbid curiosity, we're going to leave it that way and see. And I'll put the camera back up tonight. So even to entice the wee devils, let's just see what happens. I'll catch you guys tomorrow.
So right on cue, they showed up again, but other than helping themselves to the free sample and checking some inventory, they were unable to crack through. But just like anything, you grab the stash and you go tell the boss. And the boss was not happy.
But I think this is going to work. Even put some boards down so I wouldn't be standing in the mud. And this will be nice. And some of you maybe say, hey, Troy, you know they make barrels with latchable lids, right? And to that I say, yeah, I've got a couple metal drums that have the clamp down lids. I don't want to use metal because of the water will make them corrode. The metal ones I've found here locally are not food grade. And then I haven't been able to find any plastic barrels with removable lids. And now I have the big olive barrels. I think when I first was fermenting feed, I talked about this, that I don't use the big olive barrels because A, they're so tall and the mouth is so narrow, it's tough for me to reach down. I can't get all the way to the bottom unless I start to stick my head in. So these are the proper height with them cut off. You say, well, why didn't you just keep the cutoffs? Well, I didn't think about that issue when I did this several years ago. So these barrels have been sticking around for a while. So speaking of pigs, we've talked about our Pastured Pig podcast. If you're into pigs, be sure to check that out. But also, we have another website called The Pastured Pig. That's, believe it or not, about pastured pigs. And it has, we just started a new classified, because I know Facebook gets a little weird about selling farm animals on their platform. So it has a new classified. It's free. So if you're looking for pigs, people are already starting to use it. We just rolled it out. People are already starting to use it to post their animals for sale. So check that out, or if you've got pigs that you want to sell, then you can post there as well. And for those of you keeping score, yes, this is probably the first time in 640 some videos that you've ever seen me in a pair of shorts. It's because it's just been so daggone hot today. And I've been in the garden all day helping Kelly. My back is on fire. I put a shirt on just for you all, because nobody should have to go through that. But I am as red or orange as my Coyote tractor right there. So it is what it is. Things you do, right? Well, I appreciate everybody watching. You all have a great week. Take care.